Hello everyone. Welcome to all of you in FFB Live Chemistry class. आज हम एक अलग ब्रांच केमिस्ट्री की डिस्कस करेंगे जिस अभी तक जो पढ़ते रहे हो फिजिकल इनऑर्गेनिक ऑर्गेनिक ये सारी चीज़ें हमने पढ़ाई हैं। आज का जो चैप्टर है इन्वायरमेंटल केमिस्ट्री, ये इन्वायरमेंटल साइंस से रिलेटेड है और इन्वायरमेंट में किस तरह से केमिकल फेनामेना होते हैं, किस तरह के रिएक्शंस होते हैं, जिस एटमॉस्फेयर में हम जीते हैं वो सारी चीज़ें क्या हैं, ये भी एक बहुत ही ब्रॉड सिस्टम है जिसके बारे में जानना हमारे लिए ज़रूरी है। तो आज हम इस ब्रांच पे डिस्कस करेंगे जो कि केमिस्ट्री की ही ब्रांच है, बल्कि बायो केमिस्ट्री की ब्रांच है ये इन्वायरमेंटल केमिस्ट्री। तो इन्वायरमेंटल केमिस्ट्री जो कि तुम्हारे सिलेबस में इंक्लूड है ये चैप्टर, इसमें कंपोनेंट ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट एंड एनवायरमेंटल कंडीशंस फॉर लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म, उसके अलावा पॉल्यूशन और बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं जो इसमें हम शॉर्ट में डिस्कस करेंगे क्योंकि इसकी स्टडी बहुत ज़्यादा है इसका कोर्स, लेकिन सिलेबस में जितना रखा गया है हम अकॉर्डिंग टू सिलेबस ही डिस्कस करेंगे। तो आज हमें क्या स्टार्ट करना है, इन्वायरमेंटल साइंस। दिस इज द environmental chemistry. This is the chapter in your syllabus included. चैप्टर में ना भी हो तो एक इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ है, इसको सबको जानना चाहिए। जैसे 11th और 12th के स्टूडेंट्स के लिए दिस इज इम्पोर्टेंट चैप्टर। Now, environmental chemistry, the introduction of this science. The earth where various forms of life live and survive under different conditions is a unique planet of the solar system. This is perhaps partly due to optimum distance of the earth from the sun. The temperature of the earth is neither too hot as of Venus and Mercury, or not it is too cold as of Jupiter and other planets. The envelope of air surrounding the earth contains gases and provides oxygen, which is essential for survival of most forms of life. The air envelope also regulates the temperature on the earth's surface. The moderate temperature conditions also help in the regulation of water in different forms in atmosphere as well as on earth. Thus, the Earth is a unique planet which has been gifted by nature a life supporting region known as biosphere. What is biosphere? This is life supporting region. The biosphere is the environment which support life and sustain various human activities. It extends to about 20 kilometers from the bottom of the ocean to the highest point in the atmosphere at which life can survive is known as biosphere. Various forms of life in biosphere exist and microbes, plant and animals. These forms of life living in particular region of biosphere depend on the physical and chemical non-living as well as living component of environment. The non-living components of environment comprise the atmosphere, that is air, hydrosphere, water, lithosphere, land, whereas the living or biological component is biosphere, which includes plants, animals, and other organisms. The environment or surrounding of an organism therefore include atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere, and biosphere. Man on this planet occupies a central position and makes the use of the other position and make use of the life in biosphere for various purposes, which is food, shelter, etc. It is thus essential to study the various components of environmental that affect the man and other forms of life on this planet. Now, what is environmental chemistry? It is defined as the study of chemical phenomena in the environment or refers to the study of source reactions, transport, effects, and facts of various chemical species in the air, water, and soil environment. Environmental chemistry is not a single disciplinary science but a multidisciplinary science which covers many vastly different fields such as chemistry, physics, biological science, agriculture, medical science, public health, sanitary engineering, etc. The term environmental chemistry has come to be regarded as synonymous with environmental pollution by some scientists. While sticking to this narrow definition, they highlight only the problem of pollution resulting from the varied use of chemicals. Yet it must be emphasized that environmental chemistry deals with a wider aspect of knowledge. The problem of pollution is just a small segment of environmental chemistry. Resources no doubt provide comfort and happiness to man, but it is also started degrading its habitat. It soon become apparent that contamination of natural environment threaten the very existence of mankind. That is, environmental pollution is becoming a matter of concern for one and all today. A need of conservation of environment is being raised at all national and international level. Thus, the awareness about various aspects of environmental become very important for every human being. Now, component of environment. Components of environment. फर्स्ट इज एटमॉस्फेयर. एनवायरनमेंट जैसे पूरे माहौल में हम रहते हैं जिसमें हमको वाटर, फूड, एयर सब कुछ मिलता है, सॉयल, ये सारी चीज़ें मिला करके इसको हम इन्वायरमेंट कहते हैं. अब इसके कंपोनेंट पे हमको डिस्कस करना है. फर्स्ट, एटमॉस्फेयर. It is protective blanket of gases which is surrounding the earth. The atmosphere extends to thousands of kilometers above the earth's surface. It has no well-defined upper limits and gradually merges with the outer space. The atmosphere is held to the earth by the force of gravity. On the total mass of atmosphere, about 99% is within a height of 30 kilometers from the earth's surface. The total mass of atmosphere is about 5 into 10 to the power minus to the power 15 metric tons. Now, composition of atmosphere. The constituents which make the atmosphere are gases, water vapors, and aerosols. With increasing height above sea level, the atmospheric pressure gradually decreases. The atmosphere consists relatively uniform composition in the lower layers near the earth if water vapors and aerosols are excluded. The major gases in the air are nitrogen and oxygen. Pure dry air on average constitutes 78% of nitrogen, 21% oxygen by volume, remaining 1% account for other gases. The major components N2O2 and water vapors, minor components argon, carbon dioxide, tracer components neon, helium, krypton, xenon, methane, hydrogen, carbon monoxide, N2O, NO, NO2, SO2, NH3O3, and HCHO, etc. The composition of dry atmosphere by volume is given here. This is a percentage and this is the name of the gases. Nitrogen 78.8%, oxygen 20.9%, argon is 0.93%, carbon dioxide 0.033%, neon 0.0018%, helium .00052% बहुत ही कम क्वांटिटी होती है इनकी, क्रिप्टॉन की इतनी है। उसके बाद मीथेन है 0.00015, नाइट्रस ऑक्साइड 0.00025%, और हाइड्रोजन का परसेंटेज है 0.0005%। ओजोन और भी कम होती है क्योंकि ये अपर एरिया में होती है, 0.00004%। जीनॉन की पोजीशन दी है, सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड, नाइट्रोजन डाइऑक्साइड, अमोनिया, कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड, और आयोडीन एक्सेट्रा इन माइन्यूट quantity. The main constituents of the atmosphere which are responsible for sustaining life on the earth are nitrogen, oxygen and carbon along with water vapor. The constituents which are of great importance for the earth's climatic condition are water vapor, dust particles and carbon dioxide and ozone. Now, structure or regions of the atmosphere. The atmosphere is divided into four major regions depending on the height as shown here. Troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere and thermosphere. हाइट दी हुई है, कितनी हाइट पे ट्रोपोस्फेयर, 11 किलोमीटर की हाइट तक अर्थ से होता है ट्रोपोस्फेयर। टेम्परेचर रेंज इसकी 15 टू -56 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड एंड मेन कंस्टिट्यूएंट ऑक्सीजन, नाइट्रोजन, वाटर एंड कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड। स्ट्रेटोस्फेयर हाइट इसकी है अर्थ से 11 टू 50 किलोमीटर तक। यहाँ टेम्परेचर रेंज -56 टू -2, यहाँ पे 15 टू -56 है। ये -56 टू -2 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड। मेन कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट्स कौन क्या है? ऑक्सीजन इसी तरह मीजोस्फेयर के लिए एक रेंज है हाइट की, टर्मोस्फेयर के लिए ये रेंज है, और इनका मेन कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट्स मीजोस्फेयर के ये हैं और टर्मोस्फेयर के ये हैं। नाउ फर्स्ट, troposphere. It is the lowest region of the atmosphere that is closest to the Earth's surface. It extends roughly to a height of about 11 kilometers. This is the region of all living organisms, including animal and plants. About 70% of the total mass of the atmosphere and practically all the water vapors and dust particles are concentrated in this region. All the dramatic events of weather, that is rain, lightning, hurricane, etc., occur in this region. The temperature in this region steadily decrease from ground temperature of about 15 degree to about -56 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड। जैसे जैसे ऊपर जाते जाते हैं हम, टेम्परेचर कम होता जाता है। The minimum temperature is about 11 kilometer above the Earth's surface. This point is called tropopause. It contains mainly nitrogen, oxygen. It also contains argon, carbon dioxide, water vapors, जो अभी टेबल में देखा था, aerosols and traces of many other gases. The composition of air in this region remains more or less constant provided there is no significant air pollution. Now, stratosphere. The next region is stratosphere, which extends from 11 kilometer to 50 kilometer from the Earth. The temperature in this region rises from -56 degrees centigrade to -2 degree centigrade. Temperature जैसे जैसे हाइट के साथ बढ़ जाता है। दिस इंक्रीज इज ड्यू टू एब्जॉर्प्शन ऑफ सोलर रेडिएशन। दिस रीजन इज रिच इन ओजोन which absorbs harmful ultraviolet radiations of the sun and converts them into heat. In this way, ultraviolet radiations are prevented to reach the earth. Ozone is formed from oxygen by a photochemical reaction. The ozone content of the stratosphere is more or less constant. Beside ozone, a stratosphere also contains nitrogen, oxygen, and a small amount of water vapors. This region is free from turbulent conditions or changing weather pattern. Third part is mesosphere. Next to stratosphere is the mesosphere, which extends up to the height of 90 kilometers. The lowest temperature of minus 90 degrees centigrade is observed in this region. This is due to low concentrations of ozone, oxygen, and nitrogen present, and thus possess little capacity to absorb solar radiation. Now, thermosphere, fourth part. This is the region above mesosphere and extend up to height of 500 kilometer. The temperature is this region arises from minus 92 degrees centigrade to 1200 degrees centigrade. This is due to the bombardment of molecular oxygen and nitrogen and atomic species by energetic particles such as electrons and protons from the sun. Thus, this is an electrically charged zone. Typical region in this zone are reactions take place N2 converted to 2N. Here enthalpy is equal to 941 and N converted into N plus and electron इंथैल्पी यहाँ इतनी हो जाती है O2 कन्वर्ट हो जाता है O2 प्लस में और इलेक्ट्रॉन रिमूव करता है डेल्टा H इसके लिए इतना होता है द रिवर्स ऑफ दिस प्रोसेस इसका रिवर्स कर दिया जाएगा तो ये एनर्जी जो एब्जॉर्ब हो रही है ये रिलीज होगी द रिवर्स ऑफ दिस प्रोसेस लिबरेट एन equivalent amount of energy mostly as heat. The temperature becomes about 1000 degrees centigrade near 400 kilometer height. The ionized particles, these are ionized particles. The ionized particles are responsible for the reflection of radio waves on the earth and enable wireless communication. The region between the altitude of 50 kilometer and 100 kilometer is called ionosphere. In this region, there are high concentration of ions like O2 plus, O plus, NO plus, and electrons. The region above the thermosphere, which extends up to a height of 1600 kilometer and merges with outer space, is called exosphere. It contains mainly atomic and ionic oxygen, hydrogen, and helium. Now, chemical and photochemical reactions in atmosphere. Many chemical and photochemical reactions are occurring in atmosphere in which main constituents such as oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, etc. are involved. Now, reactions occurring in troposphere. The carbon dioxide and water present in atmosphere are used by clean plants in the presence of sunlight to form glucose. The process is termed photosynthesis. In this process, chlorophyll plays a role of catalyst. This is a green coloring material in plants. Reaction is this carbon dioxide react with water in presence of sunlight and chloroform to form glucose and release oxygen. The process of photosynthesis can be represented by the following equations also. H2O gives O2 and 4H plus and 4 electron. Now Ca2 reacts with these produced by water to form H2O and H2O. CH2O and H2O. This forms C6H12O6. ओवरऑल रिएक्शन जो ऊपर दिखाया हुआ है photosynthesis release oxygen to atmosphere. In troposphere, oxygen take part in energy producing reactions like burning of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels में मीथेन होता है नेचुरल गैस इसको ऑक्सीजन बर्न करके इसको कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड वाटर वेपर एंड एनर्जी में इसमें ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ एनर्जी इज released. Oxygen is also utilized in the degradation of organic material by aerobic organisms. Organic material reacts with oxygen in presence of aerobic organism, form carbon dioxide and H2O. Chemical reactions such as hydrolysis, oxidation, etc. involving oxygen occur at surface of the earth. Rusting of iron is one such example. Fe ऑक्सीजन आयरन से रिएक्ट करके ये रस्टिंग होती है, ऑक्साइड बन जाती है आयरन के ऊपर. Though nitrogen by itself is inert and unreactive, its presence in atmosphere is extremely important since it dilutes the harmful effect of pure oxygen. In pure oxygen, most of the organic matter is burned. Electrical disturbance in the atmosphere initiate reactions between nitrogen and oxygen. Free nitrogen is also converted into nitrates by nitrifying bacteria. This conversion is termed as nitrogen fixation. It can be represented as nitrogen atmosphere की है, नाइट्रोजनेज हाइड्रोजनेज ये क्या है, नाइट्रीफाइंग बैक्टीरिया है. इसको पहले ये अमोनिया में कन्वर्ट करते हैं, फिर नाइट्राइट आयन में इसके बाद ये नाइट्रेट में कन्वर्ट हो जाता है. Nitrogen is returned to atmosphere by breaking down of nitrates in the soil in denitrification process by some soil microorganism. तब ये ब्रेक होता है बाई डीनाइट्रीफाइंग बैक्टीरिया से, तब ये नाइट्रोजन दोबारा एटमॉस्फेयर में रिलीज करता है. The reaction is this: nitrate reacts with water in presence of denitrifying bacteria to produce nitrogen, oxygen, and hydroxyl ion. Now, greenhouse effect. Some of the gases component of the atmosphere like water vapors, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and methane allow the solar radiation to pass through but do not allow the terrestrial radiation to escape. This is what the glass does in a greenhouse. The gases absorb the heat energy reflected by the Earth's surface and remit part of it toward the surface, and hence the air near the surface becomes warmer and therefore an increase in average temperature is observed. These gases are called greenhouse gases and the phenomenon as greenhouse effect. The concentration of these gases decrease with height, hence the greenhouse effect decreases. That is, at this altitude, the energy reflected by the Earth's surface is not retained by absorption and is transmitted to outer space. For this reason, temperature within the troposphere decreases with increasing altitude. It drops to about minus 50 degrees centigrade by the time an altitude of 10 to 11 kilometer is reached. The concentration of the water vapors varies from place to place and from time to time at the same place. The global average of water vapors is about 1%, but it can be as high as 4%. The amount of water vapors over a given region also varies with height. About 90% of the atmospheric moisture lies below an altitude of 5 km. As the vapors are carried upward, they cool, condense into cloud particles, and return to the Earth's surface by precipitation. Another important constituent of troposphere is the aerosols or suspended particles. In urban and industrial areas, the concentration of aerosols may be high. These particles are mostly concentrated in the lower layers of troposphere, suspended particles to influence the weather condition. Most of them act as nuclei around which water vapors condense to form clouds. They also intercept and reflect isolation of sun. Insolation of sun. Dense haze and smoke are also caused by the presence of suspended particles in atmosphere. Now, reaction occurring in stratosphere. The principal chemical species present in the stratosphere are N2O2, O3, and some H2O. The far ultraviolet radiation, that is wavelength, is less than 190 nm, filtered before these reach the stratosphere. Ultraviolet radiation less than 190 nm and more than 190 nm and less than 340 nm are removed in the stratosphere due to following reactions. That is, these dangerous and harmful radiation to living species are prevented to reach the Earth's surface. Now, O2 here reacts with ultraviolet rays, which has a wavelength less than 240 nanometer. It forms nascent oxygen. The highly reactive nascent oxygen atoms combine with oxygen molecule to form ozone. Now, O plus O2 plus M, uh, it forms M3 O2 plus M. See, this is the exothermic reaction where M is some inert substance such as nitrogen. The role of M is to absorb some of the excess of energy released and prevent the spontaneous decomposition of O3 molecules. The energy which is not absorbed by M is given off as heat. Ozone absorbs ultraviolet light between 200 and 300 nanometer. Now O3 अल्ट्रावायलेट लाइट एब्जॉर्ब करके ऑक्सीजन प्रोड्यूस करती है और ये नाइसेंट ऑक्सीजन ओजोन से रिएक्शन करके ये फिर से ऑक्सीजन बना लेता है। इस तरह से ये ओजोन एक तरह से प्रोटेक्टिव लेयर का काम करती है और ऑक्सीजन प्रोड्यूस करती है। Hence, a cycle of ozone formation and destruction exists. Thus, the stratosphere acts as shield against ultraviolet radiation, which can induce skin cancer, cause genetic mutations, and destroy crop and other forms of vegetation at the Earth's surface. The formation and destruction of ozone by the natural process is a dynamic equilibrium that maintain a concentration of ozone in stratosphere. Infrared radiations to some extent are also absorbed and re-emitted by ozone. This is also responsible for temperature rise. The reaction occurring in upper atmosphere. In the upper atmosphere, while mesosphere, thermosphere, and ionosphere, ultraviolet radiations cause photochemical reaction, giving rise to excited atoms, ions, and electrons. Some reactions are given here. O2 in presence reacts with light at the wavelength of 135 to 176 nanometer and forms oxygen, nascent oxygen atom. And ozone reacts with ultraviolet rays at the wavelength 308 nm and produce oxygen ion O plus and oxygen and electron. Now O2 reacts with H due यानी कि लाइट से तो forms O2 plus and electron. N2 reacts with Hv nu forms N2H plus E and NO reacts. So these are the reaction involving in this region. Free ions and electrons, इसमें free ions बन रहे हैं और electrons. Free ions and electrons do not survive for long in the lower part of mesosphere as the density is comparatively high. They collide with other species to form neutral species. In the upper part of atmosphere, these species survive for long as the density of the atmosphere is low. The ultraviolet radiations are not available during night, so the ions decombine with free electrons to form neutral species. Now, importance of atmosphere. The following are the main advantage of the atmosphere which the nature has provided to living species. First, the atmosphere sustains life on the earth and saves it from the hostile environment of outer space. It absorbs most of the cosmic rays from outer space and major portion of the electromagnetic radiations from the sun. It is able to transist only near ultraviolet visible, near infrared radiation and radio waves while filtering out tissue damaging radiation. The second importance is the atmosphere maintains the heat balance of the earth by absorbing infrared radiation emitted by the sun and re-emitted from the earth. The third point, the atmosphere is a source of oxygen, which is essential for life on the earth. Life on the earth, it is required for respiration and combustion. The atmosphere provides carbon dioxide, which is essential for plant photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide, like a greenhouse, by trapping the heat. The atmosphere supplies nitrogen. Nitrogen is fixed by bacteria and electrical disturbances. The nitrogen compounds thus formed are essential for growth of plant. Nitrogen inertness reduces the activity of oxygen. The atmosphere serves as the atmosphere serves as storehouse for water vapors, which leads to rainfall activity. The atmosphere helps in maintaining various natural cycles such as nitrogen cycle, oxygen cycle, carbon dioxide cycle, etc. Now, second part is hydrosphere. The total water present on the Earth's solid, liquid, and gaseous phase constitutes hydrosphere. वाटर कवर्स पहला तक क्या था सेकंड है ये हाइड्रोस्फीयर पहला क्या था ट्रोपोस्फीयर द टोटल वाटर present on the earth is solid liquid and gaseous phase constitute the hydrosphere water नॉट फर्स्ट गलत बोल दिया मैंने फर्स्ट पार्ट था एटमॉस्फेयर और दूसरा है हाइड्रोस्फीयर The total water present on the earth in solid, liquid, and gaseous phase constitute hydrosphere. Water covers 70% of the total surface of the earth. Earth, sometimes called water planet, hydrosphere include all types of water resources such as oceans, seas, rivers, lakes, streams, reservoirs, glaciers, polar ice caps, and groundwater that is water below the earth's surface. Approximately 97.3% of world's vast supply of water is in oceans. Polar ice caps and glaciers provide 2% water, while underground fresh water is hardly 0.6%. Freshwater lakes and rivers account for less than 0.01% of the total, yet they contain enormous amount of water. In vapor form, water is present only to extent of 0.001%. Water is essential to all form of life. A man an average consume about 2.2 liter of water daily. More than 70% of human's body mass is made of water. Plants cannot survive without water. Water is required for domestic use, industrial cooling, power generation, transportation and waste disposal, besides the drinking and agriculture. The conservation and keeping up of a good supply of water is thus very essential. Now, seawater is unfit for drinking for agriculture because each kilogram contains 35 grams of dissolved salt. Most of the dissolved salt in seawater is a sodium chloride, that is common salt, but more than 60 different elements are present in small amount. Seawater contains a number of dissolved gases, principally nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and noble gases. Nitrogen and noble gases are not utilized in any biological process. However, oxygen and carbon dioxide play important role in marine environment. The sea plants photosynthesis and respire both. This process only occurs near the sea surface. The oxygen content decreases with depth. A minima occurs in the 100, 200 to 1000 meter depth range. Dissolved phosphates and nitrates act as fertilizer for phytoplanktons and other marine plants. Now, snow and ice present both a valuable asset and a menacing hazard. Snow is the principal source of water, not only in many of the world's mountainous areas, but also in the densely settled plains and valleys. Moreover, in the critical dry years, snow and ice are more dependable than other sources of water. The most detrimental effect of snowfall lies in the destruction of communication system. Glaciers causes rock erosion also in recent times. The ice caps of polar regions and glaciers have been greatly affected on account of the global warming. In the disruption of communication system, this is the water for use in homes, agriculture and industry is generally obtained from lakes, rivers or underground source. The water which we use for drinking purpose must be first purified to remove solid particles, colloidal particles, bacteria and other harmful impurities. Important steps for purification include preliminary filtration, sedimentation, sand filtration, aeration, and sterilization. The purified water still contains up to zero point 0.5 gram per liter of inorganic ions such as sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, chloride, sulfate, fluoride, and carbonic ion. But in such low concentrations, iron are not harmful. But the circulation of water between hydrosphere, atmosphere, lithosphere, and biosphere is called the hydrological cycle. The different cycles भी हम दिखाएंगे तुम लोगों को क्लास में. Water is an excellent solvent for many of chemicals that make up our bodies as well as for a wide variety of other substances. The importance of water as a solvent in living organisms and environment is given in the following points. First, blood plasma is an aqueous solution containing a variety of life-supporting substance. Inhaled oxygen dissolved in blood plasma in the lungs where O2 combined with hemoglobin. Blood carries dissolved CO2 to lungs to be exhaled from the body. Water transport nutrients into all cells and organs of our body. Water helps to maintain a chemical balance in the body by flushing waste products out. By dilution, water reduces the concentration of pollutant to save level or by carrying them away. Plants like up nutrients from soil with the help of water. Water transport these material into various parts of the plant. Now, rainwater carries substance from atmosphere down to the earth. The third part is lithosphere. A lithosphere is a solid component of the earth constituting the soil, rocks, mountains, etc. It is the region which interact with hydrosphere, atmosphere, and biosphere. The earth comprises of three layers: crust, mantle, and outer and inner core. The outermost solid portion, which is about 8 to 40 km above the mantle, is known as crust. The surface of the earth covered with soil. It is the most important part of lithosphere from the point of view of environment. Soil contains withered rocks as well as organic matter. It is a storehouse of minerals and is used for growing plants. The top layer is vital components is all the nutrients required by plants are present in this layer. A healthy soil always consists of microorganisms such as bacteria, fungi, algae, protozoa, worms, etc. The top layer of the soil is actually the feeding zone of plants that the soil erosion must be avoided to maintain the fertility of the soil. Now, fourth point is biosphere. It refers to that part of the earth which all life forms exist. Biosphere represent an interface between non-living and living. Biosphere extend from approximately 6 kilometers above the sea level at about 10 kilometers below the sea level. Living organism and their non-living environment are inseparably inherited and interact upon each other in an orderly manner so that there is continuous flow of energy and matter between them. Biosphere is equipped with certain special conditions which are necessary to support life. Now these conditions are: a supply of air and water is available. A suitable temperature range exists. An area where the interface between lithosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere exists is available. A supply of usable energy is available. A supply of nutrients is available. A community of organisms interacting with each other and with their non-living surrounding is called an ecosystem. This is the important part of the environmental chemistry. See again, a community of organisms interacting with each other and with their non-living surrounding is called an ecosystem. Ecosystem may be small or large. Aquarium is small and tropical forest large. Large ecosystem is forest. Each ecosystem has its wound part, living and non-living, that is biotic and abiotic. Human activities can enhance the life supporting characteristics of the ecosystem and can degrade them as well. Energy for the biosphere is provided through the action of photosynthesis. In this process, green plants use solar energy, extract CO2 and H2O from atmosphere and convert them into carbohydrate. The carbon is then said to be fixed by plant. The energy stored in the fixed carbon shows through the biotic community. The elements needed by living organisms are of two types: macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients, these elements are required in substantial quantities by living organisms. These elements are HCO, NCA, SIMG, SP, and Na. Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen are the main constituents of organic living matter. Nitrogen is contained in amino acids and proteins. Phosphorus, calcium, and silicon are required for skeleton structure of vertebrates. Sodium and potassium play a role in regulating osmotic pressure in living cells. Magnesium is an essential constituent of chlorophyll and enzyme. Sulfur is the constituent of some of the essential amino acids. The second is micronutrients. These elements are required by living organisms in small quantities. These elements, however, are as vital as micronutrients. These are also called tracer elements. Example of tracer elements: aluminum, chlorine, iron, manganese, molybdenum, etc. These elements play a specialized role in biochemical reactions such as photosynthesis and metabolism. For terrestrial ecosystems, soil serves as a medium of entry of nutrients into living organisms. Plants absorb their nutrients from the soil through their roots. With these, they synthesize essential biomolecules upon which they, as well as other living species, depend. Now, biogeochemical cycle. In order to maintain the biosphere and thus life, chemical elements must be recycled so that after use they become available again. A number of biogeochemical cycles or natural cycle process are taken place in environment which keep at balance of the different materials present in the environment. A biological cycles or natural cycle process is defined as the process in which a material of the environmental is consumed in some ways and then reproduced in other ways too, so that a balance of that material is maintained in the environment. The following biological cycles are occurring in the environment, that is water cycle, carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, oxygen cycle, phosphorus cycle, सल्फर साइकिल etc. तो इन साइकिल को हम एक डायग्राम का जो डायग्राम है इसके, इनको हम शेयर करके ट्राई करते हैं तुम लोगों को दिखाने के लिए। कैसे भैया ये? अगर अभी नहीं हो पाता तो हम तुम्हें कल के उसमें दिखाएंगे इसको। तो कल के क्लास में हम उसको फिर से शेयर करके दिखाएंगे या अभी ट्राई करेंगे। फिलहाल इस जो चैप्टर में कुछ और आगे की साइकिल्स के बारे में हम तुम्हें दिखाएंगे ज़रूर, जो कि अभी खुल नहीं पाया है। तो कोशिश करेंगे इसी क्लास में, और नहीं तो उसके बाद की क्लास में दिखाएंगे। नाउ एनवायरमेंटल पॉल्यूशन एंड एनवायरमेंटल पॉल्यूटेंट्स, ये सारी चीज़ें अभी इन्वायरमेंट के कितने पार्ट होते हैं वो सारी चीज़ें अभी डिस्कस हुई, क्योंकि ये चीज़ें पहले मालूम होनी चाहिए और बाकी चीज़ जो बाकी टॉपिक हैं उन पे स्टडी के लिए। अब हम थोड़ा सा एनवायरमेंटल पॉल्यूशन एंड एनवायरमेंटल पॉल्यूटेंट्स की बात करेंगे। बाकी डिटेल में हर पॉल्यूशन, जितने टाइप्स ऑफ पॉल्यूशन, ये सारी चीज़ें हम नेक्स्ट क्लास में डिस्कस करेंगे। The term environment is the term environment, as far as pollution is concerned, include the air, water and land. The pollution of our environment is one of the biggest hazard that humanity face toward pollution is a gift of industrial civilization. Progress in agriculture and industry have resulted into unlimited exploitation of energy bit of natural source. Such activities of man have adverse effect on all forms of living organisms in the biosphere. The unfavorable conditions created by man himself as a threaten the survival not only of man himself but also of other living organisms. For the smooth growth and development of all living organisms, a balanced or natural environment is required, which has been provided by nature. A balanced environmental a balanced environment, the various components are present in definite ratio and proportion. When the ratio of one or more component of the balanced environment is disturbed by natural happiness or human activity, it is said that the environment has been polluted. Thus, any undesirable change of the physical, chemical, biological characteristic in the air, water, and land which is harmful to man directly or indirectly through his animals, plants, industrial units, or raw materials is termed environmental pollution. Pollution may be natural or man made. First, natural pollution. It originates from natural process. A few examples of natural process of pollution, natural sources of pollution are volcanic eruptions, forest fires and coal mines fire, bacterial decomposition of agricultural matter, pollen grains of flowers, excreta of animals, floods, radioactive substance are the natural pollution. Second, artificial pollution. It originates from the activities of man. Environmental deterioration by man is attributed to the three main factors: overpopulation, urbanization, and industrialization. The increasing amount of waste generated by these three phenomena undoubtedly degrade the quantity of land, air, water, and food. When the waste products are not efficiently assimilated or decomposed or otherwise removed by the natural, biological, and physical process of the biosphere, adverse effect may result as the material responsible for pollution accumulate or converted to more toxic substance. Anything is present in the environment in excess of permissible limits cause pollution. The problem of pollution is very complex as one type of pollution will disturb and cause pollution in other system also. The pollution thus means the presence of anything in the environment in excess of required amount, anything put into the environment which was not there is its natural state, direct or indirect changes in one or more components of the ecosystem which are harmful to living organism. Now, intentional or unintentional release of any chemical or geochemical substance in the environment with adverse, harmful, or unpleasant effect. Today, everything is polluted. The air we breathe is polluted by automobile exhaust, industries, thermal power plants, etc. The fruit and vegetables are polluted due to the use of pesticides and insecticides, and water is takes and water in lakes and rivers has been polluted by waste from chemical and other factories, by sewage due to uncontrolled population and use of plastic materials. Although pollution is as old as man himself, but this awareness about it is only very recent. Concern over the state of environment has grown over the 60s. Since the 60s, the catastrophic event like the Bhopal gas tragedy, the Chernobyl nuclear reactor breakdown, etc., have been us a warning about dangers of pollution. It is thus the duty of every citizen, every nation, and every government to take concrete step to minimize the control pollution. Now, what is the pollutants? Pollutants are chemical, biological, or physical agents that exert undesirable effect on living organisms, including human health, environment, all belongings. According to the Indian Environmental Protection Act 1986, a pollutant has been defined as any solid, liquid, or gaseous substance which present in such concentration as they may be or may tend to be injurious to the environment. It is very simple way. Pollutant can be defined as a substance or an agent which cause pollution. Various types of pollutants are listed here. Chemical agents like gases, particulates, heavy metals, pesticides, petroleum, solid and liquid waste. Physical agents, heat, odor, noise, radiation. Biological agents, microorganism, population. Odom in 1971 gave different classification of pollutants. He divided them into two basic types from an ecosystem point. First, non-degradable pollutants. These are poison like mercuric salt, aluminum cans, lead compounds, long chain phenolic chemicals, pesticides, etc., which either do not degrade or degrade very slowly in the ecosystem naturally. These are not recycled in the natural environment. These substances are harmful even in low concentration. Biodegradable pollutants, these are domestic waste which can be rapidly decomposed under natural process by microorganisms. However, when accumulation of these occurs, that is complete degradation does not take place, then these pollute the biosphere and create problem. The various principal environmental pollutants are dis- deposited matter, that is soot, smoke, tar, dust, grit, etc. Gases, oxides of nitrogen, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, halogens, fluorides, acid droplets, sulfuric acid, nitric acid, metals, mercury, lead, iron, chromium, zinc, cadmium, nickel, etc. Agrochemicals, that is pesticide, herbicide, fungicide, bactericide, insecticide, pesticide, and fertilizer, etc. Now, photochemical oxidant like peroxyacetyl nitrate, peroxybenzyl nitrate, aldehyde, ethylene, ozone, photochemical, smoke extractor. Petroleum and complex organic compounds are also pollutants. Sewage due to uncontrolled population and faulty urban planning. And radioactive waste, noise, and heat causes the pollution. Some commonly used term in environmental pollution. First is contaminant, a substance which does not exist in nature but is introduced by human activity into the environment is called contaminant. It may or may not be harmful to the living organism or non-living materials. The contaminant becomes polluted when it has harmful effect. For example, methyl isocyanate vapors leaks from a defective tank killed many persons and caused respiratory, lungs, eyes, and throat problems to others in Bhopal can be called contaminant as it does not occur in atmosphere but is can be termed pollutant also at has dangerous effect. Generally, highly toxic materials are considered as pollutant. Source, the site from which the pollutants or contaminants originates is called source. The knowledge about the source is important because it helps the devise the method to eliminate or minimize the pollutant. Pollutant, sink, the material or medium which removes or interact with a long-lived pollutant is called sink. For example, ocean act as a sink for atmospheric carbon dioxide and other water-soluble gases. Limestone minerals act as a sink for oxides of sulfur and sulfuric acid. तो CO कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट इन दोनों से रिएक्शन करके इसका सिंक बना लेता है और कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड प्रोड्यूस होती है। उसी तरह सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड से रिएक्शन करके ये कैल्शियम सल्फेट में बदल जाता है। तो दीज कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट इज यूज्ड एज ए सिंक. Now receptor, anything that is affected or spoiled by pollutant is called receptor. For example, marble structure are receptors of acid rain. Human beings are receptors of photochemical smoke, which causes irritation in eyes and bringing breathing problem. Now the important point is threshold limit value. The permissible limit of a pollutant in the atmosphere to which if a healthy person is exposed for 8 hours a day or 40 hours a week for lifetime, there is no adverse effect on him, is called limit. For example, TLV of CO is 40 ppm while that of CO2 is 5000 ppm. अब ये कुछ डायग्राम है, जैसे कि ये किस तरह से पूरा इन्वायरमेंट में किस तरह से सारी चीज़ें की सारी चीज़ों की साइकिल होती है, ये उसी का डायग्राम हम और भी दिखाना चाह रहे थे जो खुल नहीं पाया। तो इसमें ये है, यहाँ पे देखो किस तरह से ये साइकिल चल रही है। एटमॉस्फेरिक नाइट्रोजन, यहाँ पे ये ऑर्गेनिज्म लेते हैं और इधर इस तरह से ये वापस फिर ये यूरिन से ये बाहर निकलती है और फिर वापस इस तरह से फिर इनके बीच में इस तरह का साइकिल चलता है। ये सारी चीज़ें देख सकते हो जो अभी थ्योरी में पढ़ा है, वो सारी चीज़ें तो एक डायग्राम में यहाँ दिखाई दे रही हैं। उसी तरह का एक और है, CO2 साइकिल दिखा रहा है किस तरह से CO2 को प्लांट कंज्यूम करते हैं और रेस्पिरेशन में एनिमल इसको निकालते हैं और प्लांट्स भी निकालते हैं, फिर इनका कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड का यूज़ प्लांट करके इससे जो ग्लूकोज बनाते हैं, उसके बाद फिर इनका रिसाइकिल इस तरह से चलता रहता है। तो इस तरह के और भी डायग्राम हम आगे के क्लास में शेयर करने की कोशिश करेंगे ताकि डायग्राम से भी सारी चीज़ें तुम लोगों को समझ में आए। तो डायग्राम हम लास्ट के क्लास में, हम बाद के क्लास में दिखाएंगे, इस वक्त नहीं दिख पा रहे हैं। तो आज का क्लास ही खत्म हुआ। एक तरह से ये इंट्रोडक्शन था इस चैप्टर का जो तुम्हारे सिलेबस में है। बहरहाल इन्वायरमेंटल केमिस्ट्री की स्टार्टिंग अच्छी थी, सारी जो बेसिक चीज़ें होती हैं और कंपोनेंट ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट, ये सारी चीज़ें इस क्लास में डिस्कस हुई।